Hey guys, it's Ornlu, and we have another PUP update, public update. I don't know. I don't remember what it stands for. It's the testing platform for AoE2 DE, and we have a slew of new balance changes for August 2022. And yeah, let's just get right into them, shall we? So, first things first, we have the ranked map pool vote now as a feature in the game. You can see it looks like this, so pretty much what you would expect, I suppose. So now it's going to be a lot easier to wield the power of democracy to pick what maps you want in the map pool. And for some reason, Crater Lake won. I don't know what kind of a sick joke this is. But yeah, good that that is now in the game. By the way, guys, you can access this update yourself if you want to. Just go to betas in your properties and your AoE2 Steam library. I'm sure there's guides out there for it. But yeah, now to go on to the balance changes. First, I can actually just show you guys this one. For Empire Wars, now your starting villager and resource bonuses apply. So like I'm going to be picking Chinese here, and we can see we are starting with 31 villagers as opposed to the regular 28. And we start with our minus 200 food and minus 50 wood. So Chinese do get their, classic Empire War start. Why do forage bushes look different? Am I crazy? Forage bushes look different. I don't know. So that is a change, and that is going to be affecting Aztecs with their extra gold. Chinese? Dravidians? No. Dravidians would get the wood anyway. Affects Huns. Huns actually get a little bit of a nerf because, they just got their 200 pop space and didn't have the negative resource modifier. Lithuanians get their extra resources. Mayans get their extra villager. Incas get their llama. Sicilians get their extra stone. And might be missing somebody. Did I say Persians? Maybe. I don't know. You guys get the idea. Your starting resource and villager bonuses now apply in Empire Wars, likely a change targeted at the upcoming Red Bull tournament in October. Into the tech tree. So, this is, of course, going to be the big one that people are talking all about. That's actually a bad example, because it's Chinese. All right, I had to restart a single-player game because, it factored in the Chinese discount. But Crossbowman upgrade, guys, now costs 175 food and 125 gold, which it used to cost 125 food and 75 gold, so plus 50 food and gold for the Crossbowman tech. And in a similar vein, Arbalest now costs 450 food and 400 gold when it used to cost 350 food, 300 gold. So for each of these upgrades, you're getting a 50 food and 50 gold bump to your cost. So that is definitely going to be hurting those early Castle Age, early Imperial Age Archer timings, which are all the rage with the kids these days. So that's definitely going to shake up the meta a little bit. Cavalry civs are going to probably be a little bit more popular. Siege is going to be better at just delaying those timings. And again, this doesn't really change the value of the units. They're just as good as they always are, but it does slow down those timings, which, especially at the higher levels of play, are just really killer, because if you have a bunch of archers turning into crossbowmen and they're up in your base, then you just kind of die in a very sad way. Same with Arbs in early Imperial Age, so that timing has been changed a little bit. By the way, all of these changes will be in the description. Also, this is not a definitive change list. This is just the changes that I have found. There was a Reddit post, and Detective Ornlu was on the case. The final changes might look a little bit different, but I think I got most of them. Anyway, now stone walls and stone gates in the darkened feudal age. You can see it right here. They have had their HP increased. Stone walls, they used to have 900 HP in the feudal age. Now they have 1080 HP. And stone gates used to have 1375 HP, and now they have 1650. So this is a change targeted mostly at Arena to try and slow down the tower rushing shenanigans that have taken off there. but it is also going to impact, well, really anytime you build stone walls, which is not too often in Feudal Age usually. But considering that stone walls had their HP buffed, but not like palisade gates, it just means that the stone wall is a bit more valuable as a just defensive tool in Dark and Feudal Age. Once you hit Castle Age, then you are getting back to your regular full HP of 1800 and 2750. There we go. HP for your stone walls and stone gates. So nice little change right there. I don't really like tower rushing on arena that much, so I'm happy with it. Next is a change to the Elephant Archer. Now these guys cost 80 food and 70 gold from 90 food to 70 gold, so minus 10 food per Elephant Archer, which makes them a fair bit more affordable. And also, very importantly, they now only have -4 Cav Archer Armor as opposed to -7, so elite skirmishers especially are dealing less bonus damage to them. They're still going to be a very strong counter. They still get, a fair bit of extra damage, but it's just not as devastating as it was previously. Is this going to make Elephant Archers viable? Maybe. I mean, they weren't awful before if you could get them going. The thing is just the good Elephant Archer civs are Bengalis and Dravidians. Like, Gujaras have very underwhelming Elephant Archers. Those civs just aren't very popular, so it's kind of hard to say how good Elephant Archers could be right now. But yeah, we'll have to see what that's like going forward, because both Bengalis and Dravidians got some small buffs. So I'll get to those in a minute. Another change is to the armored and... Where are you guys at? Armored and siege elephants. These guys are now affected by siege engineers. This is going to make them a lot stronger. They're already better than capped rams, but worse than siege rams, except for Gujaras. Now, really, this is just a change actually for Bengalis and Hindustanis, because they have access to siege engineers, whereas Gujaras and Dravidians do not. So this is just for Bengalis and Hindustanis. Now getting siege engineers for their elephants going to make them better against buildings. It's going to make Bengalis especially good because they have the pikes tech to get their elephants attacking faster. So now they're going to be, pretty darn strong anti-building units, whereas with Hindustanis, it's more like you're getting closer to siege rams, without siege engineers. In terms of raw damage versus buildings. Don't worry, Hindustanis are getting nerfed later on in the video. Now, for the Civ-specific bonuses, starting here actually with the Bengalis, now they get a new bonus. They are now the Orthodox Bengalis. Very much the Orthodox Christians or something, because now their monks gain 3/3 armor. Which is the old Orthodoxy bonus for the old Slavic attack, in case you didn't remember. I felt like they should have just given this to Slavs. I mean, it's a nice bonus. It helps their castle age a bit. Your monks are tankier for sure, and especially against things that aren't like Cav, it's going to be nice. Like archers, even knights are going to take another hit to kill them, so it's not like a bad bonus. But I think a lot of the strength of Bengalis is going to be dependent on how viable elephants are, as well as the elephant archers. And elephant archers might be better. Battle elephants are still really hard to get going. Personally, I would like to see a slight cost decrease to battle elephants, maybe like 110 food or something, and then a speed increase so that battle elephants move at the same speed as elephant archers, which are currently ever so slightly faster than battle elephants. But elephant archers, maybe they're going to be viable now. I mean, getting cheaper and less damage from skirmishers is really important for this unit, so we'll see if Bengalis and Dravidians especially can make this work. Overall, I think Bengalis are still going to be a very tough civilization to play. They're really fun, just because smashing things with elephants and rathas and stuff like that is really cool, but their strength as a civilization just heavily depends on how good elephants are, because that is just a very big part of the civ. Next up is going to be the Burgundians, who are getting hit with the nerf bat. Economic upgrades are available one age earlier and cost minus 40% food. This used to be minus 50% food. And this is definitely a little bit of a nerf. It's a nice nerf, to be honest. I guess it doesn't show it right here. But Especially like in Dark Age, you could just squeeze out double bit axe so fast in like 10, 11 pops sometimes. And now it's just going to be a little bit more expensive to get those upgrades. Your eco isn't as fluid as it used to be, but it's still very, very strong, don't get me wrong. So just a little bit of a tune back as far as that goes. Now we have the Coustillier, which is going to have its charge attack reduced. It doesn't say it right here, but now the regular Coustillier will have 20 or plus 20 attack for their charge, and Elite Coustillier now have plus 25 for their charge. It used to be 5 more for for each unit, so it was 25 for the regular, 30 for the Elite. Now it is 20 for the regular and 25 for the Elite. Gonna make the Coustillier just a little bit less overbearing. It's still going to be really good. It's just not going to be quite as good. So just more of a tuning back for Burgundians as far as the strengths of their bonuses goes. But they're still going to be good at the same things they're always good at. It's just not going to be, I think, quite as overbearing. Hopefully. Maybe. Flemish Revolution's still the same, which is sad, but such is life. Good changes all around here. Dravidians, a small but important change. They get access to bombard cannons. So they actually have a full siege workshop, if we count the armored and siege elephant as the same as the ram line, but miss siege engineers, so that's kind of an interesting distinction. This is a unit that Dravidians needed so badly. They had no way of dealing with onagers before, and just having bombard cannon really makes your late game a lot stronger, whether it's supporting your arbalests, your super skirmishers, your elephant archers, your infantry. Like, all of these things tended to die hard to siege onagers or anything like that. Or even bombard cannons could do a lot of work, but now you at least get your own bombard cannons. No, you do not have siege engineers still, so that it's not like they're amazing bombard cannons, but just having this tool in your arsenal is really important for the civilization, and I think that they're just going to become a much more powerful civ in the late game, which you need in sort of like the slow push setting because, well, this stable is rather sad, so they're at least going to be better at what they want to be doing. All right, now for the fun ones, Gujara nerfs. So, we have several things right here. First up, mounted units now only deal plus 40% bonus damage as opposed to plus 50%. So your camels, essentially it's just your camels. It does apply to light cav as well, but mostly the camels and your elephants. It's just going to be not quite as overbearing, I think. They do have some of the best camels in the game, but it's just not going to be quite as good. And yeah, I mean, I think that it's a 10% bonus damage nerf, so it's not that huge. You can still do the same things that you normally do with Gujaras. It's just, again, not quite as strong. But wait, there's more. The Shrivunshrider, now it takes 20 seconds to fully recharge their arrow dodging shield as opposed to 15 seconds, so that's a 33% bump in their charge time. So they're just going to be a little bit more vulnerable to arrow fire. This is going to be impactful whether it's in large fights with like lots and lots of archers, or when it comes to raiding, so that the arrows from TCs and castles and towers and whatnot are going to be a little bit more likely to do damage to the unit. So a little bit of a nerf there. I still think Elite Shrivunshriders are pretty balanced, but it was just like the Castle Age ones especially. Like the thing with Gujaras is that they're so strong in the Castle Age that their kind of mediocre Imperial Age very rarely came through. So I'm going to be interested to see how these nerfs are going to affect the civilization. Anyway, kind of a weird change here. Their upgrade to Elite now costs 850 food, 500 gold. It used to cost 800 food, 600 gold, so it costs 50 more food, but 100 less gold. I guess this is done to reflect the overall pricing on the unit at 70 food, 20 gold, so it's like a bit more food heavy, a bit less gold intensive. Sure, fine. The gold is going to be the more important resource to save in the later stages of the game, so sure, seems fine. Now, the other change to Gujara involves their mill garrison. This is currently, I think, bugged. I don't know for sure, because as it stands right now, the fully garrisoned food is like absolutely insane, but thing is, what looks like it happened was somebody didn't move the decibel far enough, because it's 17.5 food a minute as opposed to 7.5 or something like that, or 1.7, but I don't know the exact numbers. The point is, in the end, so long as they just tweak this for the live version, is that you'll get half as much food. The upshot of all of this is you will likely get half as much food from your early mills. It just means that their Dark Age food income isn't quite as smooth. You do get a little bit of a bonus, but not like an overwhelming one. And I think this is really a reflection, actually, of the meta being very driven by pushing in all of your deer early on. In a world where you couldn't push all of your deer, or weren't really doing that in every single game, which was, like the meta even just a few years ago, a couple years ago, now it's just completely common. And that disproportionately benefits a civ like Gujars, who otherwise could be struggling to get that early food income. But now it's just the meta is you're pushing all your deer anyway, no matter what your civ is. So Gujars don't have to worry about not having, that food income for villagers. So now this is just, I think, tuning that down and more of an accurate reflection of where the meta currently is. So kind of an interesting implication as far as that goes. But like I said, it's currently bugged, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. And those are the changes to Gujars. Again, we're looking at just sort of tuning back the existing strengths of the civilization. Going to be a little less dominant in the Castle Age with their camel nerfs and Trivunschreiter nerfs. Their food income is not going to be quite as good early on, but it is still going to be good. It's just not as good. And I think it's going to be interesting that is their Castle Age still good enough that it can compensate for their really, really underwhelming Imperial Age. But Chakrams are the same. They got no nerfs at all. So these guys are still going to be really good at what they do. Hindustanis. Not as many nerfs, but some very significant ones. First up is their Ghulam unique unit. Now they have 55 HP and 65 HP for regular and elite. That is minus 10 HP for each version of the unit, so in the live patch there's 65 HP for the regular version and 75 for the elite. This is, I think, a perfect change. For a unit that is somewhat analogous to an Eagle Warrior, it should have less HP than the Swordsman line. And now they have 5 less HP than Longswordsmen in Castle Age, and 5 less HP than Champions in the Imperial Age. It also brings them more in line with the Huskarl, whereas I think the Ghulam was kind of like a power-crept Huskarl in a lot of ways. And I think this is just going to bring the unit a little bit more in line with how it should be. Just makes it a little bit weaker against everything. But yeah, I think this is going to be a good change. This is actually exactly how I would target the unit, is with the HP. The other big change for Hindustanis is actually going to be that they lose the Halberdier upgrade. That is a big, big nerf, but it's one that makes sense. If Saracens and Berbers can't get Halberdiers because their camels are so good, why do Hindustanis get Halberdiers? I think this just makes tons of sense. Your camels are insane. No reason that the Civ needs to have Halberdier. It's just kind of doubling down on the anti-cavalry thing. It does hurt their trash a fair amount because you're looking at just pikemen without the last armor upgrade, but you still have fully upgraded hussars and fully upgraded elite skirmishers. Your hussars even deal a little bit of extra damage to buildings. So all of that is still fine. Your eco is still great. Your camels are great. Your gunpowder, blah, blah, blah. So Hindustanis are still going to be quite strong as a civilization in general. Just we're looking at tuning back some of the less balanced aspects of the Civ, shall we say. So I still think Hindustanis are going to be very strong. Are they going to be as scary for, like, especially archer civs? Not quite. So their tools to deal with archer civs have been changed down a little bit, and their tools to deal with cavalry have been tuned down a little bit when it comes to losing halberdiers. Just a couple more changes here, guys. We have a small adjustment to the Koreans. Their war wagons now have -1 Cav Archer Armor as opposed to 0 Cav Archer Armor, so they take 1 more damage from elite skirmishers and camel archers, basically. Just makes skirmishers a little bit stronger against the unit, less snowballing potential in theory. I don't think war wagons were necessarily that strong after they got, like, the wood cost nerf. Like, the double castle war wagon wasn't really as good anymore, but this is just tuning them down a little bit more. Maybe the elite one didn't have to have the negative armor, maybe it's just like the Castle Age one, but it's not that big of a deal. It's just 1 more damage for elite skirmishers and camel archers. I mean, yeah, it will add up because the war wagon has high HP, but it's not the end of the world. Now, the final change is going to be to Sicilians. Land military units except siege weapons receive 33% less bonus damage as opposed to the current version, which is 50%. So this is a big nerf. Sicilian Cavalier were kind of a one-size-fits-all unit where you just kind of make them versus everything no matter what. And now they are going to just be more counterable by camels and halbs and other such units. I do think this is kind of unfortunate because the 50% less bonus damage was totally balanced for all of their archers and infantry, and even their light cav were fine. It was really just knights and cavalier where the bonus was too strong. So now it's just like, it's a much less impactful bonus for all these other units, and it just means that your cavalier knights are only going to be a bit better than normal. Sicilians, I think they're still going to be a fine civ. It's more of you just are going to need to think more when it comes to how you play them. You can't just have knights be the only answer. I think you're going to have to play a bit more with your infantry, maybe arbs and donjons and stuff like that, to really leverage the strengths of the civilization. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this PUP update. Public update preview? Yeah, I think that's it. Now I remember at the end of the video. But yeah, definitely let me know what you guys in the comments think of all of these changes. There are a lot of really big ones here, a lot of requested nerfs, some interesting buffs, I would say. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of cool new stuff to happen. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to see how these impact how we all play Age of Empires. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.